Now that we've inaugurated a new administration, the calls will soon be heard along the lines of, the president deserves to have the cabinet he wants. The question we should all be asking ourselves is that a true statement? So we'll ponder that next on the Constitution Study.
There's one thing you have to know wherever you make your stand. Came from a long through line of everyday Americans.
Well, hello there, everyday Americans. Paul Engel here once again with the Constitution Study. I'm glad you could join me. Hey, I hope you've been participating. You know, it's a crazy time, but this is also the time to get engaged, to be involved in what's going on. Whether it's standing up for a cause you believe in or protecting the rights of yourself or someone else, now is the time for the people to stand up and do what is right. And I hope that this Constitution Study is at least a little bit of help in you trying to do that. As always, you can find out more, and we'll talk a little bit more at the end about things you can do, but I really hope that you find these videos useful and that you will share them with others. Send them to friends and family. They are there. They're on the website. They're on YouTube. They're on Rumble. They're there for you to use. They're there for you to share. You know, if you're having a hard time describing something or explaining something to somebody, maybe there's an article, maybe there's a video that will help you do that. That's why they're there. If you still have a question, go to that website. Click Ask a Question. Ask me, and I'll see what I can do to help give you the answers that you may need. This is all part of creating a community where people who love the Constitution, who love rights and liberty, can find out where and how they can defend and assert their rights. And that's what we're trying to do here. So again, I hope you share this. If you have some good stories, please let me know as well. Again, through the website, contact me, let me know. I'd love to put that information up for other people to see as well, because it's really easy to get separated and discouraged. But when we see other people having good stories, things that happened to them or things they were able to do, that really encourages others as well. So if you've got those stories, please let me know. If you are one of the existing members of the Constitution Study and you got that survey, please take a couple minutes and fill it out. Just give me a little bit of information about what you would like, what you think we should be doing as far as social media goes in 2021. And with that, let's answer this question about the president deserving the cabinet he wants. In every administration, for as long as I can remember, I've heard these words said. Elections have consequences. The president deserves to have his nominees confirmed by the Senate. And I've always found it interesting because, well, when I was younger, I just assumed that's the way it works. You know, the Senate was little more than a rubber stamp for whatever the president wanted. I mean, unless he nominated Jack the Ripper, that person should have gone through. But see, that was until Robert Bork, and we started seeing the Senate push back. And of course, then I started learning more about the Constitution, and it got me thinking. Is it truly right? Is it truly constitutional that the president gets to choose? In the Senate, it's a little more than a rubber stamp. Well, let's take a look at the Constitution and see what it says. See, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2 says, he shall have power, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate, shall appoint ambassadors, other public ministers and consuls, judges of the Supreme Court, and all other officers of the United States whose appointments are not hereinafter otherwise provided for, and which shall be established by law. Did you notice that? See, it doesn't say that the president nominates and the Senate confirms. See, it says that he will nominate and, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate, appoint ambassadors, senators, ministers, judges, and other officers by and with the consent of the Senate. You see, this idea of the president nominates and the Senate confirms really misses an important point of the Senate. Remember, the Senate was created to represent the states. That's why the states each have equal suffrage. They are required by the Constitution to be able to have the same number of senators as any other state because it represents the states and it's designed to be equal. So the role of the Senate is not simply to rubber stamp whatever the president wants, and it's not even to simply give them a bit of scrutineering before they approve it. The Senate is supposed to advise and consent with the president. Now, the fact that this doesn't happen says more about what the American people have let their Senate do, what we've let our states allow the Senate to become. The fact that we've now devolved into this nominate and confirm really talks about the American people's willingness to not hold their senators accountable. Remember, originally senators were appointed by the state legislators, meaning if a senator wasn't doing their job, it was the state legislature that was responsible for replacing them. But you see, then we have the 17th Amendment, which says now the people get to vote for senators. So it's our job to make sure that the people we hire to represent the state are actually doing the job of representing the state. And that includes advising the president as well as consenting to any nominations. Now, this really came to fore when President Obama, near the end of his administration, nominated Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court. Now, there was about to be an election. It wasn't sure if it was going to be Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. So the Senate, which at the time was in control of the Republicans, the Senate advised the president, no, we don't want to deal with a Supreme Court nomination now. Let's wait until after the election. Now, everyone got up in arms and, oh, how the Senate can't do that? Well, yeah, they can. They were advising the president. Oh, by the way, when President Trump, nearing the 2020 election, nominated a Supreme Court justice, guess what? The Senate, which was still in the hands of Republicans, advised him that they would proceed on such a nomination. Now, the fact that it's a completely partisan decision, again, says more about what the American people have allowed to happen to their Senate. I'm reminded of the quote from James Garfield. Now more than ever before, the people are responsible for the character of their Congress. If that body be ignorant, reckless, and corrupt, it is because the people tolerate ignorance, recklessness, and corruption. Well, if there are three words I can use to describe Congress nowadays, it's ignorant, reckless, and corrupt. And as Garfield said, it's our fault. Now, I fully expect the confirmation process of President Biden's cabinet to be just as politically rancorous as has been in the recent past. Well, maybe not quite so much, because while the Republicans will certainly throw some roadblocks, they certainly haven't been as bloodthirsty as the Democrats have shown themselves to be over the last few years. But let's never forget, the president does not appoint these officials on his own. It is with the advice and consent of the Senate. The president can nominate whoever he wants, but he does not deserve to have that nomination confirmed. That has to be done with the advice and consent of the Senate. Why is this important? Well, because I fully expect to hear the president deserves and the Senate should confirm, and all the rancor that we've come to expect from Congress in the last decade or so. Now, make no mistake, elections have consequences. We have a chief executive, Joe Biden, and he's going to nominate who he's going to nominate. And if the Senate doesn't confirm them, well, he's going to nominate similar people over and over and over and over again. That's the fault of the American people. If you like that idea, hooray. If you don't like the people he would nominate, well, it's your fault too. Even if you think there was fraud enough in the election to this to be an illegitimate presidency, what did you do before the election to secure the vote in your state? What did you do with your state officials to make sure that voting laws were not only fair, make sure the elections were free and fair and transparent, but make sure that opportunities for fraud were minimized? Anything? What did you do with previous allegations of fraud in previous elections? Anything? Still your fault. Because the very people who apparently broke the election laws, who violated the Constitution, who either ignored or manipulated the votes, all work for you. They're servants of the people. They represent you. And they did that in your name. And if you don't want that to happen again, well, you better do something, not in Washington, in your state capital and in your county seat. But back to this idea of nominations. We've already seen several names proposed for different offices. They're kind of what I expected, nothing really surprising as of yet. But again, it is up to the Senate to vet these people, to advise the president whether these people are capable for that position, before they decide whether or not they're going to consent to the nomination. And I really don't care how many people scream that the president deserves his nominations to be approved. The president doesn't deserve anything. The president is a servant. He is exercising a power delegated under the Constitution. He has the power to nominate. No one's saying he shouldn't nominate. But he does not have the power to simply appoint cabinet members, judges, ambassadors. He does that with the advice and consent of the Senate. And maybe if we made our senators give a little bit more advice, they'd be a little less rancorous in their consent. So there you go, just a little thing that I expect to pop up in the next few days, if it already hasn't by the time this video actually gets edited and published. But it's one of those things about understanding the Constitution. Not what we've been taught, not what the lawyers say, but what the Constitution actually says. Advice and consent. And if we want our senators to give advice, we must demand that they advise. Anyway, head over to the website, constitutionstudy.com, find out more. I've got other articles and videos you may find useful. Again, if you want, sign up. I'll give you a free book. Just click the free book, give me your name and email address, and voila, you get a free book. It's a way to keep in touch with the Constitution Study. You can also sign up for the newsletter, which I send out once a month. If you think these videos are valuable, if you want to support the work that we're doing, if you want to see more of these or more varied content, then please consider donating to the Constitution Study. Simply click the donate button. You can make a one-time donation, you can make a recurring donations, but understand those donations go strictly to keep the Constitution Study running. It pays for hosting, it pays for software, it pays for everything I need to do to make that happen. If you want to get more involved, if you're ready to go and actually begin studying, well, consider becoming a Constitution Scholar. Simply head over to constitutionscholars.com, register for your free account. You are never required to pay a dime. This isn't a free trial where you try it for a month and then voila, I'm hitting your credit card. You only pay if you want the extra features that are part of being a scholar. If you want to start your journey and become an apprentice to becoming a better scholar. But you're more than welcome to use the free libraries that are up there. I've got a reference library. I've got a library of my books that are available. There's communities where you can find other patriots, other people who are interested in the Constitution. Maybe you'll find some in your areas. I'm actually looking for people that want to maybe moderate a group for their state. I think it'd be really interesting to have different state groups discussing what's going on in their state, and I want to give them the place to do it, but I'm looking for people who are local to that state. I can't follow what's going on in all 50 states. I have a hard enough time following what's going on in my state. But it's a place for people to get together, check out a class, read a book, see what's going on, and grow as a constitutional scholar. It does not take a 4-year degree. It doesn't take going to law school. It really only takes a little bit of time to read and to study and become a student of the Constitution. So please give that a try. Again, if you found any value here, if you do nothing else, if you just share this, I'd appreciate it greatly. And again, if you find value, if you find this worth your time, then I hope I'll see you here next time on the Constitution Study.
You have to know wherever you make your stand.